Grand Rising, everybody. So today I wanted to bring you a message for December, just encouraging us to kind of stay in great spirits and to move on with our lives, but also be cognizant of what we're taking with us. I had a dream a couple of days ago to relieve myself from the past and what am I holding on to and how am I going to propel myself forward into the next month, into the next year with positive energy. So I just want to say next month for December is always going to be about love and devotion. How are we going to be devoted to ourselves? How are we going to allow our heart space? How are we going to allow love to push us forward, to open up to new challenges and changes? Because there are a few changes and challenges that we're holding on to that aren't necessarily being kept for good reason or good cause. All it's doing is allowing us to replay these thoughts and past traumas in our minds 150 times, yet we're trying to kind of move on and we really can't because of the past trauma that we're not releasing. So it's actually time to break the chains. It's actually time to leave these things behind and move on once and for all. So I pulled another card too. I pulled a lot of cards today. But I pulled a card and it was saying that we should also take a break. Take a mental break. You know, we're always doing so much. There was just so much going on. Thanksgiving is dope, but it's just so exhausting. You know, people are always cooking all night, and then it's just like, you know, you have to entertain all day, and then it's like it goes into the wee hour of the night. You don't want to stop because family and friends are around, and it's like you're enjoying the company. How many times do you get to see these people? Random guests come into town. It's just a lot of shit, and then it's also a lot of energies to take in. It's like fucking swirl of tornadoes and twisters and typhoons and all that jazz, depending on where you are in the world. But overall, it's definitely encouraging us to take a break and take some time to align our lives, because there is something for the month of November that we were holding on to, and now is not the time to kind of do that anymore. We need to really focus and sit down and think about what it is that we want to release once and for all. What is something that's bothering you to a point where you feel like you can no longer keep it in with you no more? There's something that's keeping you off balance. And for me, I know which one thing, it's my childhood trauma. You know, constantly these things are resurfacing themselves because I haven't put them to rest. So now is the time that I'm actually working and going within and trying to figure out, how can I have these conversations? How can I do these things for myself where other people don't even have to be involved, where I can actually reap the rewards? Because all I want to do is constantly open up my heart space large enough, wide enough, so that people can actually benefit from the love that I have to give. Some of us have dual purposes here on this earth, and many of you are slowly awakening to that purpose, and many of us are still trying to figure out what our purpose is. A lot of times we don't really know what it is that we want to do. Shit, I still don't know what I want to do half the time, but I do know that I have a mission. You know, I know that I've been talking about being unique for the past like 6 or 7 years, and I don't even know where it even came from. I just was obsessed with humans and their unique functions and capabilities and things that we have that animals don't. You know, we can talk. I can talk to my dog, but I know what the fuck she's saying too. Blink, blink. Like, don't get sassy. What are you talking about? You know what I mean? So it's like the fingerprint is unique. We don't have the same fingerprint as our parents, and that's our immediate, you know, lineage. You know, we don't have the same fingerprint system. They don't have the same fingerprints either. It wasn't like God said, hey, everybody of this fingerprint come together and start a family. You know, no. It's just dope that we are capable as humans to be awarded this life here on earth, and all we're trying to do is expand this love thing a little bit further. A lot of times people are so closed off to love because they've never even received it as children. You know, is that you? I grew up in a religious household, extremely religious, and thinking about the characteristics and different things that I had to do and all the reading and meetings and different things like that, they've molded me to be a great speaker. But in the same token, it was a lot. It's a lot to bring your children into something, or to bring your children into a decision that you made. And because they're your parents, you have to honor it until you're how old, And it wasn't until I was about 23 that I woke up and said, you know what? Maybe I should unlearn who Jehovah God is and learn who God is. So I took this course at church, and it went through all of these details in the Bible that I hadn't been exposed to in the religion that I grew up in. And a lot of times that trauma of learning who God is and understanding that God is not some figure that we can, necessarily pray to. This is a person, another human that we can have a relationship with. And when I say another human, I mean God is in everything. We hear that all the time. But the one thing that I've connected with most, was the fact that God is in nature. So when I go outside and I take these walks, even though it is close to, I'm freezing right now. I'm shivering. Like, I can't even front. I'm about to put on a hoodie and some sweatpants, like on top of the clothes that I got, because I'm freezing. But I do go outside to communicate. I do go outside to sit and watch the leaves blow and look at the twigs. They're just sitting there and they're bare now. And I'm like, poor little babies, I'm freezing because of y'all. Like, what's good? Help a sister out. And then I look up and then I see the sun, and it's like all illuminated and shiny and bright. And I'm like, you know what? This little walk was worth it. There's just something about nature that nurtures us, in such a way. People have vitamin D deficiencies because they want to keep their ass in the house all day. Don't get me wrong. I love being in the house. But I also love being a glow-faced baby with all this sun. You know what I mean? So it's really important for us to focus on the plan and to stay in alignment with the earth. Mother Earth is the cure. Yesterday, I went to go see Harriet in the movies, and I was sitting here and I'm like, damn, this is like the first time I've been to the movies, and it was actually sold out, in a long time. And I hadn't heard much about the movie. I just know that I was for the culture and I needed to go support it. You know what I mean? And that was it. But the gems, the fact that we have to constantly heal our trauma is just crazy. Knowing that these people who we call our loved ones, our ancestors, fought so long and so hard for centuries to get us to where we are today is amazing. To think about people like Harriet Tubman, who actually paved the way for us. She finessed this earth in such a way so that we can actually come here and walk on it and live a little bit more freely. You know what I mean? And I love the concept of freedom because of people like Harriet Tubman, because they constantly just knew. Somebody said they owned me. Somebody bought her life, bro. And the one thing she said she could never ever be was bought. And I said, damn, hashtag free as fuck. That is my shit. I'm always talking about being free. I really don't understand the concept of chains. And I can't even imagine my ancestors having to go through slavery, because I'm so radical, I don't know who in my lineage was radical and just was willing to take any beatings or lynchings and, backbreaking work on a daily basis just for me to feel this free. And that's what I'm trying to say. It's okay to have difficult conversations with people. It's okay to want to free yourself from that trauma associated with those people. There are so many people waking up to this calling, man. It is ridiculous. And like I said, there are so many of us who have dual purposes on this life, because some people are called to enlighten and some people are just called to enlighten themselves, just to be an example, to love thy neighbor, at a minimum. But those people who do have two roles to partake in, whether if it is enlighten yourself first and then share the word with others, kind of like what I'm doing, or you just like to play the background, but you're still dedicated to your purpose, which is fulfilling yourself and loving yourself. I can't get over the fact that this whole self-love journey of mine has been so epic because I'm constantly trying to figure out why this is a trigger. I can't even front. Although this movie was dope as shit yesterday, there was this lady sitting next to me And she had an Android phone. Yes, I hate them. I am an iPhone human. I don't like a lot of the things surrounding Android, and I get disturbed when I don't see this shit pop up blue. That is a real thing. I am sorry. I love you guys still, but get an iPhone. I only want to text you if that shit pop up blue. But going back to the point, this lady's freaking LED light or notification just kept blinking and blinked the whole movie. And it was like right here. I couldn't cover it up. I wanted to ask her to cover it up, but I'm like, yo, I'm OD if I definitely do. This is her money she spent to be here. Why would I not let her do what she does? But because I'm crazy, because my ADD is a real fucking thing, I'm like, Harriet. Focus on Harriet. Like, started doing yoga in a chair, you know, everything reclined now. I'm fucking reclining this shit all the way back, doing downward facing dog, sitting down, just trying to get comfortable, because at the end of the day, yo, that light was pissing me off, but I didn't want to miss the message from my ancestors. What are they telling you right now? I just saw 11:11 on this, like, sick. What are they telling you right now? What are they asking you right now? What are they saying that you need to do? How can you do it? Does it matter the reaction? No, because at the end of the day, the healing is for you, and it's not a selfish act. It's just sometimes we all deserve a little bit of freedom. A lot of people oftentimes don't even like to share, and we just have to get over that fear, because fear is the most debilitating thing on the earth. I cannot even stand the idea of it. It actually cripples the mind. You know, I was writing this ebook the other day about getting over fear, and I was like, I can't even believe this was like my life. I wrote down all of the things that crippled my mental state and how it took me several years to kind of get over. I was in my apartment for about 5 years, and it took me almost as long to get over a lot of these little fears that I had. And a lot of them were silly and stupid, even afraid of the dark, just being afraid to be alone, even though I love being alone. I'm an introvert, you know what I mean? So there are a lot of things that people don't understand about us, and sometimes they want to classify you and name you and give you a title or a label. Oh, you're schizophrenic. Oh, you have ADD, but I really do. But, you know, there are just so many different names. People want to give you a label, and I don't want to have a label associated with me. I just want to be free, you know? So we have to really find out what it is that we really want to do this month. We have to sit down and focus and find out what triggered us, because that rest that we're trying to figure out how to do, because a lot of us don't even know how to sit the fuck still, that's something that you really have to do today. You know, this month of December is approaching, and it's here fast. You know, I don't even know how we got to December this fast. I feel like I blanked and this shit was like December 1st, you know, and it's like, how? But we really need to focus on our ancestors, our healing. We need to heal for them. It's been said that we hold 7 generations of trauma within us. 7. And many of us in the Black and brown community can't even go back 3. You know what I mean? So it's like, if there are 7 generations, hundreds and hundreds of years, centuries, you know, decades of trauma that we're holding into our bones, our blood, our system, our entire being, how are we not getting to a point where we're already free? We have to break these curses. So if I have 7 years of trauma preceding my life, then that means that I have to be 6 years, you know, for my offspring, and now their life can only be one of freedom, because now I have to pay that forward. You know, it all starts with you. So if 7 years ago was the last traumatic incident in your family, 7 lifetimes ago was the last traumatic incident of your family, which I'm pretty sure it's not, you know, that's just to say we need to just push ourselves that much more forward. So do some work. We have a lot of work to do today, like a lot of work to do. I really am not good at this card thing, but I'm going to show you this card. And basically, it's saying one thing: you have to break the chain of ancestral patterns, healing, rewriting the future. So yes, break the chains, rewrite the future. We really have to get to a point where we have to find out what lights us up inside. And for me, it's my heart. My heart is something of gold. It wants to see the good in all people. It wants to support everybody, but we can't do that. I can't constantly sacrifice sleep for somebody else. Like, no, we really have to figure out what it is inside of us that's encouraging us to break free from this. Our heart is really this vessel of emotion and turmoil and beauty and love, most of all. And when two people come together, they create one soul. So let's focus on who we can actually bless. So now that we're not only lifting up ourselves, we're also lifting up other people. So this was a highly intuitive message. I encourage you today to actually subscribe to the channel and like this video, share it with your friends. Be sure to visit my website, beyouties.com. That is BEYOUTIMES, the number 2.com. On this website, you'll actually find a whole bunch of novelty items, anything related to self-love, whether if it's things that you want to put on your altar, like candles and sage, you want to make a libation bottle dedicated to any of the deities, you want to actually buy some apparel, #free as fuck, hoodies, stickers, have bedroom candy on there, because that form of love is also important. That shit is liberating and freeing within itself. The more love that you can provide for yourself, the more you'll be able to give it freely. And I think that's the most important message of the day. What are we trying to release so that we can open our heart space for the more and for the better and for the greater that the universe has in store for us? So allow our hearts to be like a rose, something that's like a bud, and then it constantly just opens up, and allow for the universe to guide us in such a way that it's going to constantly just be open. A lot of us are in fear of loving and being free and allowing ourselves to be open and just trusting the universe and what it has for us. My manifestation game is like a freaking one. I see it and it happens because I just believe that it's truly going to happen. All year I manifested my reality, like all year. And everything that I wanted, it happened. But in the same token, I was like, okay, if this is going to be the situation at hand, then what am I going to be able to do? You know what I mean? And for me, it was just focusing on what I want. Right now, I'm having conversations with Jay-Z. I keep calling him my godfather, and I really dead ass know that I'm going to meet him. You know what I mean? And it's like, there are just a lot of things and a lot of people and a lot of aspirations, and just constantly say these I am affirmations. That's a word within itself. That's the one thing that's going to really guide us into the future, aka 2020. We are all trying to get focused and focus on ourselves and be selfish for a change. I think I hated the definition that Webster gave once about the word selfish. And I'm like, why are you making it seem like this is a negative thing? There's nothing wrong with choosing you first. And I think that a lot of people also misinterpret that part, because it has nothing to do with other people. I have to make sure that I'm good first before somebody else, because I'm not going to be able to give you that energy if I'm not. And I think that we really need to see ourselves as people who are constantly unfolding like the rose, because as these layers shed, there's only one thing standing, and that's usually the stem. And you have to be that strong vessel. You have to be that rose that's never ending, never dying. You constantly want it to unfold and allow it to grow and to be nurtured by nature. Sun makes things thrive. Flowers grow with sun. So Yes, we are the stems, we are the foundation of this rose, and our heart is the rose as it constantly needs to be opened up and let sunlight in. So connect with nature today. This month, allow for your hopes, dreams, and aspirations to be a serious thing, but be mindful to take a break. Holiday seasons tend to give people anxiety, depression, and not only that, but we're around people we probably don't even really want to be around. You know, a lot of us have family childhood trauma that are just major secrets, and unfortunately secrets are a form of protection, and it can't be like that any longer. Remember what I said about healing childhood trauma and healing trauma in general. You know, there are just so many high statistics surrounding sexual assault and trauma, and just so many unhealthy family patterns that we're afraid to unravel. And I think there's one person in every family who just doesn't give a fuck, and that's me. And I'm pretty sure it's you because you're watching this video. So let's just be mindful and to constantly clear our energy fields as often as we feel it's deemed necessary. You know, reverse these things and this trauma that we've attached to our souls growing up. We don't need that. You're no longer a child. Release them once and for all. You know, whatever you don't like, change it. That's what I did. I changed it. I will never stay in a situation that I'm unhappy in ever again. It's just not even fucking worth my time. And it's not even worth yours. I don't care what it is. I don't care who's offended. If I don't like it, I'm leaving. And if you're here in my space, you got to go. Be mindful of people and their energies, because everybody doesn't have good intentions. And that's word, okay? Just be mindful of who you're allowing into your space. Because one thing that I can say for sure is that energy transformation is real, and negative energy will attach onto you so that it will affect you. And those are who are also around you, excuse me, because guess what? It jumps. So be the reason, be the good witch, and actually continue to spread good and love throughout the earth, because that's the only thing that's going to make this place a lot brighter. So remember, if you have a dual position in this earth, and if it is your job or it is your passion, it is your soul's purpose to uplift and expand this community while we're thriving and trying to keep our heads above water, for lack of better words. But just be mindful that it's time to align our lives with Mother Nature and our heart space. All right, so again, please subscribe to my channel, like this video, check out my new website, BU times 2, and I will talk to you soon. Adios, love and light.